A very good evening to you, and thank you for joining us on Y254. This is our first show that is on Wednesday here, year 2021, and we'd like to wish you a very happy new year. I believe the year is still new, and tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that we've had this conversation several times. It's a conversation that people have had in different platforms, and that is youth unemployment. We just try to reflect on the impact of the pandemic, that is the COVID-19, throughout the effect that it has had on unemployment in year 2020, and see what can we do to create more opportunities for young people the year 2021. What can the Ministry of Youth, or rather the government, also help out in different ways to help us tackle unemployment? We try to look at skills. People have most of the times talked about skills mismatch. Is it really a problem that we have, and how can we be able to solve that? Talk to us across our social media platforms, that is at Y254 channel. You can also reach me at Patricia Muriuki. And to help us talk about this tonight, we have John Minor, who is a CEO workmate. We were to be joined by the advisor, that is Lydia Madhu, who is a advisor to the CS Ministry of Youth, but apparently due to some unavoidable circumstances she could not be able to join us tonight. But we'll try our best here with the help of John to try and tackle this topic to the best of our knowledge. Welcome to the broadcast. Hello John, how are you?
Hi Patricia.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for finding the time to be here with us. We know that with everything that has transpired in 2020, very many things were affected by the pandemic, and a report by the International Labour Organization, that is ILO, reporting that 1 of 6 youths has reported to have lost jobs because of the pandemic. This is a report that was done in August 2020, and the male demographic is the demographic that was highly affected. What is your thought on this report?
Thank you, Patricia. I think 2020 caught everybody off guard, and especially the people who are young and the people who have already just started working. It has affected across the SMEs, which are now the biggest employers for these young people. So you find that if the SMEs are affected, then young people tend to lose their jobs, and that is a big effect, is a ripple effect, and I think we will need a turnaround strategy to be able to counter the effect. Okay.
Before we even talk about like the turnaround effect or ways on how now we can be able to curb this problem that you have, we've talked about unemployment in this country for very many times. Different people have held meetings, conferences to try and address the issue on unemployment. What do you think is the root cause? Is it our economy? Is it not being able to adopt the people that come out of the workplace? Is it that our graduates are not skilled enough? What would you say is our root cause, our major problem, so that we're able now to talk about what solution do we render to that problem?
Patricia, I'll say there's no straight answer, just like a one fix solution to that problem, because this is a problem that has built over time, and as you can tell from now, even the effects of the pandemic, you know, they have just multiplied the effect. But even before the pandemic, this is a challenge that we have had of a high rate of unemployment, and you can imagine like the retirement age, you know, is upwards of 60s going up, and these are things that are also, I think, they're denying the young people a chance to just practice their what they have learned in school. They talk about a lot of mismatch in job placements. I think, on my opinion, that the mismatch that is placed on the job is also brought about by corruption in the country.
Okay. The government during the pandemic, different ministries tried to create ways on how the young people can engage themselves, because we had the biggest number of young people out here, because, you know, students were not in school, and this now increased the number of young people who are very idle. And they came up with Kazi Mtaani. I think the Ministry of ICT came up with ways on how they can be able to engage young people. We saw the Film Classification Board coming up with a project where you're able to produce certain content, have film with your phone, and be awarded something, a certain token. What is your thought on the kazi mtaani, which there was some scandals around that because there were funds that were being misused, there were young people showing up and not being paid their money based on how much they had worked. There's a lot of corruption around that. So for us to be able to even create good projects as a country and have these projects benefit the young people that we're creating them for, what do you think, in what ways can people given these responsibilities do better, focusing on the outcome of the kazi mtaani scandals that came out?
Patricia, I'll say it's unfortunate that when the government sits, I think, with all the advices that they have, and I wish Lydia was here so that they can address how do they come up with the programs that they give out to the youth. I mean, we have skilled, qualified, competent young people out here, but you find that the only projects that can be given out to the youth are the projects of, you know, just go out, you know, take out the garbage, clean up. I understand this can be the effect because it has the capacity to accommodate large numbers. But even as you've said, we have seen in situation where the youth have already done the task, but now again payment becomes another problem. So for me, I think the government needs to like create some internship hubs, you know, work across with the public universities, create makeshift companies where now if these youth, the minute they come from the university, they can be placed somewhere for a couple of time for them just to get their own skill, on job, you know, experience that the employers out here so much want. Okay. Yes.
We know the young people in schools today, this is the manpower we're looking at to help us create a better economy in the future. These are people who can also contribute in our economy, that is in terms of the growth that we want to see, that every citizen would like to see in the country. When you've talked about projects that the government probably brings about as a way to cope with certain measures like the kazi mtaani that was there because of the pandemic, you've talked about, we know how these people are expected to do is go clean things around their villages, their cities and all that. And I'd like to bring you in terms of roles and probably responsibilities or opportunities that are there in capacities where the youth can serve us. We're not trying to disregard the kazi mtaani, but we're just trying, what do you think we can do instead of the government coming and saying, let us go and slash all these. I saw the governor of Machakos County talking about they would have come up with probably better ways to engage them than just going and having them clear bush and then next week the bush is going to grow. Instead they would have had them go build certain toilets in places where there are no latrines, go be involved in a certain road work and all that. What is your opinion in a way that we are able to take these youths with their skills and provide for them opportunities and platforms in a way that we are still nurturing that which is inside of them?
All right, great. I think you have to look at it from a broad perspective because, you know, even in terms of the job, the people now who are employed, when you look at them, majority, almost more than 70% of the employed, they are employed on the, you know, not on the corporate sector, but on the Juakali sector. And this tells you something that the majority of the jobs, they are not formal jobs, you know, and that's why I think the government is tending to go towards that. But we find that these are only places where youth or the young people who are the majority in this country, they are only using their manual labor. We need to develop opportunities where guys can start using their intellectual, you know, stuff like having automating, and I'm happy with the progress so far, because we cannot say that the government is not doing anything. The Ministry of ICT, I'm aware, they're doing something with Ajira Digital, just equipping youth with the skills, and personally I've attended some of the trainings, which I think they're very beneficial. And the problem that is available right now is that we are not tapping into the intellect of the young Kenyans, who are very bright and very sharp. That I can tell you for sure.
So now, how do we do that? How do we not just sit down? People don't find themselves in a boardroom and sit down and say, we've now decided that we're going to engage the young people in certain ways, without even considering what is it that these young people need, in what ways are they skilled. Now, how can we now be able to bring about projects that are going to benefit them? Because at the end of the day, they slashed the grass, but what next? So how do we come up with projects that really meet the needs and the skills of the young people and have something that is long term?
Oh, that needs a multifaceted approach, because you have to segment these people. We have got people who are graduates, we have got people who just finished their class 8 and they did not continue with the education, we have got guys who reached up to their Form 4 level. So you cannot as well bring a solution that will cut across. All right, so if you ask about the solutions, and because we can take ages discussing the problems, and the problems will still be there. As young people, we have the obligation to put ourselves out there, and it's not all lost. I mean, now in this digital age, in this internet era, in this information age, even the people who says that they do not have the skill, I mean, you have just to utilize what you have. Even Moses was asked what do you have on your hand? Right now we have got the opportunity. It's a global opportunity. We can become global citizens by using the internet in a productive way. And that's why what we are trying to do with WorkMate Digital, what we are calling the Virtual Jobs Finder platform, is that we try to find the virtual jobs. We source for them globally and just try to bring them locally, and in the local level we try to give the skills through organized institutions like the higher education, the TVETs, just try to show them this is how it is done, because one of the major problems is that it's an information gap, it's a knowledge gap. The skills that are required for you to start making money online, making money from home, away from the conventional employment, is that you can use the internet as a resource to equip yourself and start earning something. Yes.
I would like us to talk about adaptability, and adaptability in the sense that we have people who have already graduated and are out here looking for jobs and they cannot find them. They're doing their best to probably be diverse, which is something I would like us to tackle probably towards the end of this interview. But how can a young boy, a young girl who has been raised up in the village, their mother's gotten an opportunity through the government-sponsored program, they're here joining the university and all that. And every student that we have in campus right now, in a college, in a technical institute, studying something, and their hope at the end of the day is that I'll graduate and find a job. But most of the times we are shocked when you come out here and these jobs are so hard to find. So how now do we try to adapt? We know what is happening out here. How can teachers and lecturers involved with these students right now? In what way can we help them grow or acquire certain knowledge that is going to help them cope with the situations that are out here? Because I believe if we walked, for example, the University of Nairobi that is just right here, if we walked in there and asked those students what is their hope, it is that the day they get to graduate, that is when they're going to probably get a job. So I'm going to be taking your answer to that question when we come back. Let us take a very short break here on Y254. We shall be right back.
Imagine
Thank you for staying with us on Y254. Tonight we're talking about youth unemployment. If you're just joining us, talk to us across our social media platforms. That is at Y254 channel. You can also reach me at Patricia Muriuki. Before we went for the break, we were talking about adaptability. And John, I would like to take your answer on that. In what way can we be able to prepare the young people? We know how the state of unemployment is in the country. How do we prepare them so that now as they get out here, they don't come with so much expectations, and we have young people falling into depression, getting involved in things that are not right? Yeah.
Patricia, I'll say to the young people that as much as we like to look at the government as the source of employment, we also have to change our perspective in terms of what we expect from the government. Government has already created a very enabling environment.
Okay.
I mean, in Kenya, we are, across the world, we have a number somewhere in terms of the internet connectivity.
Okay.
We know we have single source of power, which is Kenya Power, but they are doing a good job. So with this kind of environment that has been created by government, I would say, going by the numbers, even in the past, the number of jobs created per year and the number of graduates that are coming out every year, they don't conquer. So what do we do to address this situation? And that's where now adaptability comes in, where now guys have to be very innovative. We have seen guys making, guys in the media space, creating their YouTube channels, creating their vlogs, and that's an income stream. We have to get out of that notion that I have to, get from my journalism school and come to Y254 and become a news anchor. The space there is limited, and the population is crowded. So what do? We have to come up with new ways. We have to remain innovative and cut niche. I mean, in the developed world, I see guys doing niche business. Like for me, I only focus on eyebrows, and you become a master of that. So that way, the opportunities become big. Okay. We are not all of us fighting for the anchor seat, but now in media, in any industry, if you look at all the components that make that particular industry, you can identify a niche and run with it. And it takes time. The other thing is that guys want just to come out and just make it big. It's a process. It's a process. You have to accept and respect the process to go through. And I think even as Workmate Digital Solutions, what we are trying to do is to get to the youth and its impact on their skills while they are still in school. So there is need to partnership from the schools, the institutions that are offering these courses, to partner with industry, so that even industry can say, this is what we expect. This is what we expect. And I know there's a lot of free time, and this is a resource that is the most expensive. And this is something I say all the time, everywhere I go. Like, how do you spend your time? Because it's more important than the cash. So there's a lot of time in between classes. There's a lot of time after school sessions. These people can be able to engage and nurture and grow their skills on what the job requires. As you're going with the curriculum, yes, but remember the industry, this is what is needed. You have to complete your curriculum, get your degree, because that's almost the entry level right now. You have to get a degree to show that you're literate and you can be able to assist the companies. But on the side, what outside here is called a side hustle. On the side, please have a side hustle to nurture your talent, to nurture your skill, and something that you can passionate about, and sooner you'll be able to monetize that. Okay,
let us talk about skills mismatch. I know you interact with a lot of people or a lot of candidates applying for jobs, that is as a Chief Executive Officer of Workmate. Would you say, at what rate, probably 0 to 10, have you noticed that people are applying for jobs, but the moment these jobs are presented to them, they have the best grades, the best GPAs on paper, but when it comes to the skills, there is a disconnect. At what, first of all, between 0 to 10, how much would you say you experience this problem?
80.
Wow. Okay.
80%.
So how now do we address it? How do we make sure that we're not just giving these students theory and not preparing them for the job market? Because at the end of the day, the employer does not have time to train you. They are looking to make money. So how is it now that I will not come out of school, I don't have the skills, and expect that I'm going to go to a company, have like 1 year training, and the employer is not going to take that because I'm going to be, let's say, wasting their time instead of them hiring someone who is already skilled and can play the role. How do we now practically solve that problem?
Patricia, that's also a tough one, because guys are applying anything that looks like a job.
Okay.
Right? So they don't care.
But we're telling
provided
them
that we are hiring.
We're telling them to be diverse. If I notice my pool, my profession is crowded and there are no opportunities, I'll just go throw in my CV elsewhere.
I'll give you a real life example. Just the other day, somebody posted a job on the platform, workmate.club, and they just wanted one receptionist. Right? It's a small shop here in town. And they said, you know, I want a receptionist who has this and this kind of experience. And so we posted it up online on our platform, and we pushed on social media. Within 72 hours, we had 36 applications.
Wow.
Right? And we thought that, oh, this is a lot. Who will go through all this stuff? Then waking up the following morning, the applications were more than 180.
Wow.
So you can tell that need that is out there. People are hungry to work for something. And even internship, you find that now, when you announce for an internship, even the qualified people are applying for the internship. What does this tell you? There's a big gap. There's labor that is ready to be utilized, and we are not harnessing that power. That power can be a big time bomb that can come up and explode, but there's a way, if there's a way we can tap into this potential and convert it into something that is productive. And you know, we are cursing COVID-19 for every bad thing that it has done, but for guys like us who, you know, promote the issue of even working from home, work from anywhere, provided you have your laptop, you're connected to the internet, this has been the biggest experiment. The whole world has been told, shut your doors and work from home. And I know there are companies who will not reopen their doors. There are companies who are going to downsize because they have realized, look, we don't really need all those people. We don't really, not people, we need the people, but they can work from somewhere else. And this is also the thing that we are trying to show the SMEs, that it's possible for you to use a platform, an online platform, to hire, to outsource remotely, guys who have got experience. So you only pay them for the quality work that they deliver. You don't pay them, you know, you don't put them on a payroll, and the payroll becomes a very big, it becomes a very big giant that is killing down the SMEs. The SMEs mortality rate is below 5 years. Within 5 years, you know, either the rent or the payroll. And they end up now hiring, you know, substandard employees, and this brings about the mismatch, and it lowers the job quality, and you can see how that is rippling down.
As we wind up on these, I know that for us to be able to create these opportunities, every sector involved, that is a young person watching us tonight, they have to change certain things, they have to be diverse. But I'd like us to talk about the government input and also the private sector input. In what ways can they be able, because we're looking at being able to create the economy and make it grow. So how can we be able to adapt to accommodate the labor that we have in this country, and that is among the young people that is not utilized currently? How do we do that as you wind up?
Personally, I think outsourcing is a great way to, you know, like knock off a big percentage of that, because you've realized like companies who work with guys on shifts, they have got higher productivity, because if the shifts are short and the guys, you know, don't overwork, you know, they stretch the shift, then there's always fresh manpower that comes in to relieve the other fatigued one. So we can take this model and replicate it on our SME ecosystem, that you only have a few permanent employees, then now you can be outsourcing, and this one will at least make the circulation, the experience grow, because there are young people who are called out to be entrepreneurs, but look, they have not even been given a chance to walk in on a boardroom just to see how organization work, and they can copy that and start their own. So with this kind of approach, I believe we'll have more exposure, and we'll even create a better working society.
Okay. 30 seconds, a message of hope to young people hoping to find themselves in a certain company, or to start a business, or to do whatever way that is going to help them create income. 30 seconds, a message of hope.
A message of hope to me, I'll say, time is the biggest asset that you have. And if utilized well, then you can be able to become whatever you want. Use the internet resource well, use your time well, spend your time as if it was money, because literally is more expensive than cash. Okay,
thank you very much, John, for finding the time to join us tonight and share that. I hope that there are going to be strategies brought up by different people, that is a government, that is a private sector, to help us cope with youth unemployment. And I hope that it is probably the last time, let's say the last year, we get to talk about a very high rate of unemployment in the country. As you've heard from John, take your time as the most valuable thing that you ever have. And I hope and I wish you that, pray that 2021 is going to be better for every young person watching us tonight. Thank you very much. My name is Patricia Morioki. Do have yourselves a very good night.